Wow. It looks so clear through my camera. Right here. This is where I slept. I put my bed right here and I went to sleep. And in the middle of the night in my dream, which is when I was asleep and I began to dream, I was in my room, which is this way. Well, my hands are green. This looks so weird. I was in where my bed would be, the head of my bed, and I leaned over, and on the side of me, somehow, was my snips, and they closed. My body closed them. It took this much, and I don't even think you could do this with them, but in the dream, it cut, and they're like scissors. It cut me. And when I saw it, I had the things in my hand and blood was just pouring out. And I grabbed it and I tried to call out. Now, the day before, I'm like, when I put the pressure on it and say it, I'd start to hold the pressure because it causes so much, the awareness of how 3D that it was is so palpable that like I'm stuck here holding it like I'm actually holding blood in. Like that's how it affects my motion today. So the previous days I was trying to telepathically send a message from this room to the other room. Why? Because one time my dad was in there and he had something happen and he could not call out. And just because somebody came, um, he ended up going to the hospital. He had to have surgery. He had an ulcer in his stomach and it perforated and he was bleeding in his stomach. Basically the same sort of area with blood. He's actually got a scar on the same spot where he was stabbed when he was younger and he had to push his intestines back in. That's pretty extreme. But that's nonetheless. But partially what I think is because I was trying to open that communication, because sometimes if I can't sleep or I can't sleep anyway, I'll be worried. I think that he might choke on that phlegm that he tries to cough out when he smokes, because sometimes it does choke him, and he said that he can't breathe. So sometimes if I'll check in on him to make sure he's all right. I mean, pretty basic, right? You check on somebody that you care about to make sure they're all right. So now I wasn't fully aware that was why I was doing it until after I had this dream. I crawled. First, I tried to cry out in the dream, "Help!" Because you can't. I couldn't move. If I move, I would have blood just start to pour out. And when I screamed, "Help!" blood squirted out, and it was like it really happened. It felt like it. I don't fucking know. I don't pretend to know. I'm just telling you the dream, how it was, how severe it was, and it was severe. It shook me. Now I've worked it out. I figured it out. Why I had the dream, what was going on before it, and why is it useful? It's fucking useful. But I'm telling you, the way that it felt and the feeling that you were dying, it felt like I died from a really retarded cut. That there was. Let me sure I don't look too ridiculous. Good. I just look the normal amount of ridiculous. It's very important. It's very important. Put this disclaimer. Maybe I should put this in the front. No, I'm not gonna put it. I'm gonna put the image of the yak in the front. I know it doesn't make sense. It's counterintuitive. It's counterintuitive. This is disturbing. This does disturb. So if you're not serious about, you have to be very careful in everything that you do. Keep an open mind, of course, but I underestimated the amount of stress that leaks over from one side of the consciousness to the other. Like severely amplified stress. I know where it's coming from. I get it. I understand. I don't think it would. I think it would only take another time of going to sleep and falling back into the natural rhythm of the body for it not to be so palpably felt. But I do have a hardcore like empathy thing going on. Like I've got strong empath powers, and they're very difficult to manage. It can make it very difficult to be in public and certain things, and sometimes I'll have perceptions of other people's emotions that are not mine. And once I've sorted out that it's not mine, I can mitigate it. But if I'm not aware of it, not being my emotions and just feel it, it can be very undesirable. It can be very undesirable. But I know it is a blessing, and it's a more heart-centered thing than mind. It's not something you're going to be able to trick your mind into being able to do, and you wouldn't want to. I don't think you would. So it is important to say that while you do anything with your dreams, or if you're attempting any sort of psychic or paranormal stuff, just be careful and take care of yourself. Because a feeling something like dying, this sounds stupid, but feeling and experiencing your own death in a 3D simulator is harmful, slightly harmful to you. It doesn't feel good. It's not fun. It can be a learning experience. Now, that's true. But if you're not prepared to do something with it, it would be something you should avoid. There's the simple statement. If it's not something you're prepared to do something with, don't do it. All right, there. Back to the video. No possible way could be inflicted on the self. I think the dream stretched it to make it possible, and I appreciate that. And I actually do, because I do see all the correlations of it now, and I didn't set to do that. It wasn't like some sort of magical act. The only thing involved in this is sleep, not being able to sleep, being able to remember what you dream, being able to intend and be aware while you dream, and then just being a normal human and trying to make tomorrow a better day than today. That's it. And it is useful. It is useful. It is useful. Now, when I first woke up, I had received a strike. And from the distance of the strikeouts or whatever, it would be number 2 strike. And I haven't even been in any type of, I haven't said anything. I even reviewed the video. Now, I won the appeal, which is actually odd. But maybe not. Maybe not. Now, why they gave me a strike was for reasons that they're trying to box us in the way we communicate. They don't want, and it's really malicious in a way, because a lot of people, I don't know, I guess I think it's maybe the left, the things that they're fighting for to get people not being able to communicate ultimately fucks us all, because there is conversations that humans need to be able to have. Because if you think that people are becoming, because that you keep people from saying certain words, if you think that's making society better, I'm sorry to report it's not. It's not. It's not at all. And some of the things that I think are coming out about, you could say with this recent health thing that we've had, where there was a lot of discussion that was shut down and people are like not even allowed to say anything. It's going to be shown how fucked up it is pretty soon. I think it's going to come out when they have Mr. Dr. Fauci's stuff come out, because all his memos were ordered to be released and they're supposed to come out this week. So, you know, when you fight for people who are fighting against you, ultimately it's a problem. Now, it's also a problem to think that, just to say that I don't agree with the left, strongly not, because of the way that they do things, the cult like behavior, I don't agree with. That doesn't make me on the right, because I'm not. I mean, more than left, obviously, for doing shit, but I don't I don't really think that's it. And the only reason why I'm even having to fight that is because, oh, you're a white supremacist, or you're a this, because that mentality of just putting someone somewhere else doesn't that's not good. That's not good, because I don't have any representation. I don't have my idea out there. It is not rooted in hating someone or what they choose to do. And I say it. I say what my issue is. My issue is that people are not being listened to. People are not able to discuss, and they need to. That's the point. You know, it doesn't do you any good to just surround yourself with people that believe the same things as you and then throw a fit if they suddenly have a difference in how they view or like things. That's really mental ill. That's hardcore mental illness. And it's not reality. It's not even enjoyable. I mean, I guess if you want to be a super rich person for a day and have everyone pretend like they like you, and if you're really into that, and you think that it's genuine, or you just don't care, maybe that would be a good experience for you. But I don't think it's a good experience. I think it's vain, and I don't think it's rooted in reality, and I don't think it would persist in giving anyone any pleasure over any long period of time. Period. So I had this dream, and it was very real. And I realized what I was trying to do was secure that connection between just relative shit. If you're in the same space, we do a lot of this stuff where, at least we did when I was young. And then I shared something that I had heard that was new to him. And this resulted in this image in my mind of this musk ox, which I call a yak. I'm going to try to show the image. But as we were talking, and he was saying it was a musk ox, we were talking about the hair of the musk ox, or the creature that is the one that we've both agreed that that's what we're talking about. because he I would call it a yak, and I'm maintaining to call it a yak, and he said it's a muskox, and it's he initiated it because he brought it up. He was saying that the hair on the woolly mammoth is like the muskox, and I said yes. It's not like polar bear hair, because that's one of the reasons they say that, well, okay, woolly mammoth didn't all live in like the ice and snow like we see. Maybe some of them lived in the cold, but what they find of them doesn't indicate that they were in the cold all the time. They found some frozen. That's like the anomaly. That was the discussion, because somehow they found a giant blue feather inside of a tusk of a petrified mammoth, or I don't know what it was. Frankly, I don't understand how you could get a giant blue feather inside of a tusk. I didn't see this episode. It was Joe Rogan, and it was um, Randall Carlson, and I don't know. I will put a link to what I was watching when I found it, and I will put the muskox image as he chews whatever's in his mouth and strongly looks at you and persuades you to accept all valid incoming transmissions from friends of yours that are trying to telepathically communicate, if you don't mind, so we can all do this together. Have a nice day.